Hello, and welcome to Once More, a podcast for two best pals rewatch, review, re-examine our favorite movies, shows, series. I'm Ryan something.
And I'm Jen Katz.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
I'm so great. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much. I love that dress.
Thank you. I wanted to match Drusilla's nails in this episode. She looks fantastic.
She does. So do you.
Thank you very much.
Where'd you find that?
I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a very little known brand, Target.
Oh.
Yeah, it's exclusive.
Really?
So exclusive. Yeah. It's Target.
Get out of here.
I love this dress. Yep. Target. Right. Turn it out.
It's incredible.
I took my kids to Target yesterday. And we walked in. The oldest one goes, I just love coming in here.
No.
I was like, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the cult. So yes, this was at Target. Sponsor us, Target. I love you. I spend a lot of my time and my money there. So anyway, yeah. So I got this at Target and I saw it. And I was like, Drusilla's nails, because she's got the black and the white tip. And
yeah,
I cannot paint my nails to save my life. This is my ode to Drusilla.
I love it. You do match her nails.
Thank you.
Which we'll get to. You'll see later in this episode.
Yeah. Not to, jump the gun, as they say, but that's one of my slays. Drusilla has a slay for me this episode at the end in her black gown and her nails. She looks phenomenal.
She does.
Yeah. So, I think we should get into it because this is a very exciting day at Once More.
This is. Why is it exciting?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. This is our first Once More double feature.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. We are going to cover the 9th and 10th episode of Buffy, What's My Line Part 1 and What's My Line Part 2. And It's a lot to cover. So I think let's just go ahead and get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's. Today, we will be discussing the 9th and 10th episodes of the second season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, What's My Line Part 1 and What's My Line Part 2. What's My Line Part 1 was written by Marty Noxon and Howard Gordon, directed by David Solomon, and it aired on November 17th, 1997. What's My Line Part 2 was written by Marty Noxon, solo this time, no Howard, directed by David Semel, and that one aired on November 24th, 1997, so exactly a week later.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like they should have just aired them at the same time.
I don't know why they didn't. Well, folks, it's career week at Sunnydale High.
It sure is.
Forcing Buffy to confront the reality that her Slayer destiny offers little in terms of a normal career path. Meanwhile, Spike, needing to keep Buffy occupied while he enacts his plan to heal Drusilla, hires a group of ruthless assassins called the Order of Taraka to assassinate Buffy.
Yeah, sure.
Things get even more complicated and awkward when a mysterious new fighter named Kendra shows up, also claiming to be the Slayer.
Ooh.
Buffy and Kendra, initially wary of one another, have team up against the remaining assassins. And after decoding the book from Dolok's tomb, Spike kidnaps Angel, intending to use him in a ritual to restore his beloved Drusilla to full strength. That is a mouthful.
Yes.
That's a lot.
There's a lot happening in these two episodes, and we're going to get into it, but yeah.
I feel like these could have been two completely separate episodes without them needing to be connected to one another. So you could have had...
It didn't need to be part 1 and part 2.
Well, you just could have had Spike and the Drusilla and the Angel of it all and the Dolok's tomb. And then you could have had in a separate episode where a Slayer comes to town because there's been paranormal activity or whatever she was sent there for.
Yeah.
And really focused on her and that character and how the two Slayers work together in the background of the Slayer lore and the Slayer handbook and so on and so forth. But
Fully agree.
They put them together, and
that's one of my gripes, and it's not too big of a spoiler, but Kendra, and we're going to have a conversation when she's introduced, but the treatment of people of color on the show is pretty apparent in the way Kendra is presented to us.
Oh my gosh.
In her lack of a real backstory and characterization. Right. And I'm with you. Like, we could have had a whole episode on Kendra and what this means, but no, we're just going to pack her up in a cab at the end and ta-ta. Like,
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Check our box.
Speaking of, just a reminder, if you somehow missed the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode, when we get into Kendra, there will be discussions about racial stereotyping and treatment of people of color in Buffy and honestly, in media at this time. So we'll give another warning when we get into it, but just a disclaimer, those are going to be difficult topics we're going to talk about today. Okay.
So, Jenny.
Ryan.
First things first.
Randy.
Go watch last week's episode if you're curious as to what reference that is. Okay.
Ding.
First things first. There is no Giles voiceover about in every generation there's a Slayer.
Nope, there's not.
So
you're up.
For our audience, our listeners and our viewers, in every generation there's a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires and the demons and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
That's it.
That's what I got.
Cut. Print. Episode's done.
Done. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
It's been grand. Okay. So we start this episode with a previously on, and it's all about Drusilla. The history of Drusilla. She's weak. She's crazy. Angel sired her. And we see what? I feel like that's what they're saying.
I love it. I don't know what you're on today, but I'm loving all of it.
So, and they showed the vamp from a few episodes ago who stole the book where, Giles and Jenny see her in the library. And he goes, "It took one of my books." Yeah. Now it's coming back around. The book.
No one ran after it.
Well, they had to recover.
It's ridiculous. What sort of Mickey Mouse business we got going on here?
Mickey Mouse operations. So after the previously on, we cut to Sunnydale High School, and there's a sign. It says Career Week.
Yay.
Yay. Starting off with a fashion nay for me, Miss Willow Rosenberg. She's got this orange and green sweater. I don't like her braided pigtails. Normally I do. It's a nay.
I like him at the end of the episode.
The end of the episode, part two.
Yeah, part two.
She looks great when she's talking to Oz.
Yeah.
This I don't really like. And we've got Xander and Buffy are sitting at the table. They're doing a multiple choice career aptitude test.
Yes.
Did you have to do one of those?
I did.
I never did. And I feel like I was robbed of something.
Yeah. Hey, you were.
I want to know what my career should have been. Yeah. What did yours say? And how old were you when you had to take this?
I was in high school, maybe a sophomore or junior in high school, I think. And mine basically steers you into like these categories. And mine was like civics, government, politics. And that was it. I was like, all right, that checks.
Look at you now, podcasting.
Podcasting.
Well, I wonder what mine would have said.
Randy for office 2024.
Let's make that a t-shirt.
Guaranteed to make you happy.
Well,
okay.
Pack it in. See you later.
Terrible with taglines.
I like it. I'd wear a shirt like that. That's it. I like it. As Willow says later, is there a t-shirt? Because that'd be cool. I like t-shirts. Okay. Willow goes and sits with Buffy and Xander, and Buffy and Xander are kind of like, you could tell they're a little overwhelmed. Xander says one of the questions is, are you a people person or do you prefer keeping your own company? What if I'm a people person who keeps his own company by default? Like they're really reading into this test and they're kind of, panicked. And Willow is just kind of, she's chill. She's like, I'm kind of curious to find out what career I'm going to have. Yahoo.
Yeah.
Buffy tells him, mark none of the above. And he said, there is none of the above. I'm just going to make one up and that'll show those mushroom headed pencil pushers. But I do like Willow's line where she says, I'm sensing bitterness. And I want that as a button.
I love that.
And then, Buffy is she's a little glum. She's sad. She's like, hey, none of this applies to me.
Yeah.
My future is not an issue. I'm just going to be slaying things.
Yeah. She's starting to feel the impact that she might not have a future outside of slaying vampires in Sunnydale.
Until she dies.
Until she dies.
Most slayers die young.
Live their life and have a career and, go off to school and study and, maybe live someplace else and have a family. I mean, all these things are still, it's a theme again throughout this entire series of Buffy.
Yeah.
Feeling like she's entitled to more or she wishes that she had more than this life.
And that's something I want to dig into. I think that's a really interesting topic. I wish that this maybe was a whole episode of the career week, of the career of it all.
Yeah.
Because of course Buffy as a 16-year-old would be like, wait, so am I ever going to get married? Like, Giles, break out the Watcher Diaries.
Right.
Do Slayers ever marry?
Mhm.
Do Slayers have children? How do Slayers support themselves?
Right.
When they're, there's so many questions. And I feel like that is something super interesting to dig into.
Sure. Well, and from a Buffy perspective, one might assume, because there is no conversation about that you're just destined to be this person who's alone, which we find out later when Kendra arrives. That's like, hey, no, like, Slayer studies, and a Slayer doesn't have friends, and a Slayer has to be stealth.
Doesn't date.
Doesn't date. It's like, so yeah, I mean, what's the future look like for Buffy? And I think the audience can feel it here.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, fuck.
Well, and they keep alluding to, Buffy's different from other Slayers. She has family. She has loved ones. People know her secret identity. It's
right.
And they've done a good job of showing that, at least. But I wanted to kind of dig into this theme more. But I do want to say, Cordelia Chase, while Willow is my nay, Cordelia walking up is an absolute slay.
It's a fire outfit.
She's got it's a black mini skirt with a little slit that was very popular, black tights, black knee boots, it's not a tank top, but it's a sleeveless shirt with like a slash of pink on it. Her hair, she looks great. She's excited too. She's like, oh, I can't wait to find out what I'm going to be. And she looks great. But yeah, Buffy's a little cranky. She's just like, yeah, my future is a non-issue. I'm going to be slaying. That's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to, I guess, the warehouse, Spike and Drusilla's lair.
Wherever they are.
Drusilla's doing some light tarot reading.
She is. You noted her nails.
She looks great. Yeah, they're black with a white tip. We meet a new vampire, Dalton, our new best pal, Daltina.
Nerd
Okay.
alert.
I'm going to have lots of point avoiders.
Nerd alert.
In these episodes. We just came off of an episode learning, with Lie to Me. It's a demon that takes over your body. There's nothing left of you when Buffy's talking to Ford, right? This is the least demon-y demon we've ever met. This looks like a regular guy.
He's a demon. That's right. We had this discussion. Keep thinking he's a vampire.
No, Dalton
or
is.
A minion.
Dalton is a vampire, but
he is.
But vampires, remember in last episode with Ethan in the Dark Age, Angel's demon fights Igon. So there's a demon inside you as a vampire. And Buffy tells Ford, when Ford wants to be turned, you're not left, Ford. Nothing of you is left. It's a demon. It's an animal. It's a monster. Dalton, you're going to tell me Dalton is a demon monster. This is some guy who is maybe an accountant, maybe a history teacher. Who the fuck knows? But with vamp makeup on. He's not a scary demon. He's wearing a cravat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, they're playing fast and loose with the vamp rules sometimes. And I'm just like, stick to your story, folks.
I thought he was a vamp.
He is a vamp.
And a demon?
That's what vampires are.
Oh, fuck. Wait. I'm sorry. He's out. He's milling around in the daytime.
No, he's not.
Au contraire.
Dalton's not milling around in the daytime.
Oh, wait. No, he's not.
So, yes, time for some Buffy history. There are different classes and types of demons. There's like the Igon, who's the sleepy, euphoric drug demon. There's vampires. Okay. When you become a vampire, a demon, you lose your soul, and a demon uses your body as a house, basically. So that's another. But
cannot walk around in the daytime.
But vampire rules apply.
Okay.
So it's a different type of demon.
Okay.
Yeah. When you've got the Taraka demons, right?
Which are
with assassins. One guy's made of bugs. Okay. The other lady was just a cop. I don't know.
RoboCop.
It's like, again, I'm saying they're playing fast and loose.
Okay.
This guy, Dalton, seems great. He's just trying to decode this book, and it's, he's having trouble translating it. He reads something and Spike's trying to translate it, and Spike goes, "Debase the beef canoe." It's just this episode. But
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my recipe for tonight's dinner says the same thing.
Great. Can't wait for a beef canoe.
Once more contains adult content.
Oy vey. Okay, so they're using this book to try to find a cure for Drusilla. And Spike's agitated. Dalton can't translate it. The book is gobbledygook. And Drusilla's being Drusilla. She's like, Spike,
yes,
come dance with me. And he snaps at her. And he's like, can't you see we're working here? Blah, blah, blah. And she gets her feelings hurt. And she does
the little.
I need to change, Miss Edith.
With these dolls.
The doll.
I'm going to throw them out the window.
Yeah, but we learn that
she reads tarot.
Yeah, she's reading her tarot cards, and Spike is saying, like, hey, we've got to figure out this cure because we're running out of time. So I guess Drusilla's about to die. What's happening?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. But these cards are the most specific tarot cards. No one's got a deck like Drusilla's deck.
They wish.
They do.
They wish. Yeah. And Drusilla's doing her tarot. She goes, he can't help talking about Dalton, our new history teacher, Professor Vamp. And
no offense, Dalton. All
Dalton,
the minions are completely unhelpful.
You're the most helpful, arguably.
Perhaps for now.
And she touches a card and it's a tomb. And she's like, we need to find a key. And he's like, oh, I'll send the boys to the tomb. It's the old Delac tomb. It's so specific.
Yeah.
And then they kiss and it's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah, they're hot. Juliet Landau and James Marsters have
They've got great
amazing chemistry.
And I love the way they kiss each other. It's always, kind of a different angle. And
they're great.
It's cute. It's hot.
They're great. And then Drusilla's accent work, though. Spike says something I can't remember. And she goes, yeah. Guys.
Yeah, he's asking her a question. You were like, I cannot.
I cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, I'll dance with you. And he stands up and he dances with her. And he's like, I'll dance with you on the Slayer's grave. And he picks her up in his arms and he spins around with her.
So romantic.
It's so great. And then we cue the credits.
We get the fiery open.
Yep.
And then we cut to Buffy.
She's walking in the graveyard.
She's milling around the cemetery as she does at night.
As she does. She's got her hair in a business clip.
She does.
She's not.
She means business.
I like it when Buffy has her business clip. Later on, she's wearing like track pants and sneakers. I'm like, come on. This is what you should be fighting in.
It's a great outfit.
God, when we get to like season 5 and 6 for sure, it's like she's wearing designer. They have Sarah Michelle Gellar and all these designer clothes. She looks amazing. I'm like, this is just, don't even care anymore. Not even pretending. She's like fighting. Yeah. And I mean, she still fights, but it's just, I guess, why am I hung up on designer clothes when it's a show about vampires and bug people? I don't know. So this episode, if you're hanging in here still, thank you. Okay. So she sees a crypt and there's lights on. There's lights on in the crypt.
Okay.
She goes in, she opens the door, she sees Dalton.
Something is awry.
He's chipping away at something in the crypt.
Yeah.
Instead of going in there and like, she goes back out and waits for him.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you don't know what you're walking into. And maybe she'd like the element of surprise and catching him on the way out.
But she had the element because he didn't know she was watching him. And wouldn't her vamp senses tingle and let her know that there's no other vamps around?
Maybe her little vamp sense was tingling and told her to step back a little bit.
Maybe. So she does, and she waits for him. And he comes out, and she's like, she quips about, does eternal rest mean anything to you people? And then another vamp comes from the back, attacks her. She fights him and she stakes that big vamp, and then Dalton leaves.
Dalton splits immediately.
He daddles. And Buffy's like, one down, one gone.
Yeah. He split immediately. As soon as she turned around and saw the other vamp, when the camera cuts back at Buffy looking at Vamp 1, Dalton's gone.
Smart man. Dalton, again, I'm what if he was a professor at Sunnydale? What if he was a former teacher at Sunnydale High School or one of the other 45 schools in Sunnydale?
Maybe.
And he was like, a historian.
Maybe he was the librarian before Giles showed up. Anything's possible.
I've got a theory.
And a fanfic.
He was a librarian. Okay. So we cut to the next scene, and Buffy's climbing through a window.
She is. And who's in her room?
It's Angel.
Okay, listen. Angel just happens to show up the week that Joyce just happens to be out of town for a few days. I mean,
it's coincidence.
Come on.
Coincidence.
This is a
coincidence.
This is a make out setup.
I'm telling you what. Again, another point of order. Does Angel... Okay, vampires are supposed to have heightened senses.
Uh-huh.
How does he not know Buffy's there until she throws her weapons bag and it plunks on the floor? And he's like, Buffy, you scared me. It just really gives me, takes me back to season 1. Oh, be damned.
Yeah. No, he's acting so aloof and strange. And she even points it out.
Yeah.
She's like, why are you acting so weird?
Yeah.
He's like, I got a message for you.
Or no, he says, I had a bad feeling.
Yeah.
I wanted to check on you. I had a bad feeling something was wrong.
Get out of here.
No, he wanted to come.
He just appears.
He wanted to come make out.
He just appears like a djinn. Like he just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's there.
Are you stalking Buffy?
Yes.
Are you obsessed with Buffy?
Yes.
Is it sweet? Is it...
No.
Is it shit? I don't know.
I don't think you should go into someone's room without them knowing you're there. And he's holding her stuffed animal.
Right.
And, she's like, do you want some quality time with Mr. Gordo? This is the first time we meet Mr. Gordo. Mr. Gordo is Buffy's stuffed pig. Welcome, Mr. Gordo.
Breaking news.
Mr. Gordo has entered the chat. Okay.
Buffy has a stuffy. Okay.
Fun fact.
When
my eldest was born, my mom got her a stuffed cat, as you know, and I named her Miss Kitty Fantastico after
Miss Kitty,
Willow Rosenberg's cat that she'll get in season 4 or 5.
Miss Kitty was a prominent feature.
She still is.
And still is.
Yeah.
And then there was Miss Kitty 2.
Yes.
To make sure that there was always a Miss Kitty.
Yes. And she got lost. And she was returned to us all the way from California.
Oh, wow.
Shout out T. Thanks for sending Miss Kitty back to us. Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay, so we got Mr. Gordo. So anyway, so we learn that Joyce, as you mentioned, she's in LA until Thursday.
Out of town.
Buying some pieces for the gallery.
I'm just saying, when I was that age.
Oh, yeah.
And my gal pals' parents were out of town.
Smooch City.
Putting it politely, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
what's going on here? Angel,
come on,
Buffy, just cut it out.
Yeah, she's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Well, I wanted to check in on you. I had a bad feeling," and then she kind of, snaps. Oh, here you go, Angel, with the bad news. And he goes to walk away, and she's like, "Okay, sorry, I'm just a little cranky. Something's going on at school." And he goes, "Career week," and she looks at him.
She's like, "How do you know about Career Week?"
He goes, "I lurk." Is he lurking at the school? What is, how? He must have, questions. So many questions.
He's certainly lurky.
He is. He is. She's bummed because she's not going to have a career.
Right.
Like, the girl's already died once in the line of duty.
Yeah.
She knows she's probably going to die at some point.
Yeah. Her path is kind of a dead end. And
she wants a normal life, and Angel's kind of like, unlike me. Oh, God, Angel. She says, Angel, you're the one freaky thing in my freaky world that makes sense to me.
I love that.
That's so great.
It is such a sweet line.
It is. And, she's like, I just wish we could be regular kids. And Angel's like, I'll never be a kid. And Buffy says, okay, then, just a regular kid and her cradle robbing creature of the night boyfriend. And guys, folks, listen, folks, you're calling out the thing that's uncomfortable. And I don't think it's the thing you want to draw attention to, that you have a 200-year-old vampire lurking around a high school dating a 16-year-old.
Remember, these are real people who are drawing attention to this scenario.
Like, you're in the writer's room?
Yeah, beyond the characters. Like, let's go behind the wall. Be like, do we need to keep reiterating this for some reason? And if so, why? And let's unpack that.
And, I think canonically, I'd have to get production on it. I think Angel, when he was turned, was in his 20s. So it's still weird in a lot of ways.
Sure.
So they cut to the mirror, which was kind of cool. That shows Buffy's got a mirror in her room and they're sitting on her bed. It shows Buffy.
Cool shot. Yeah.
Doesn't show our boy Angel.
Mm-mm.
And he gets up and he picks up a picture of Buffy figure skating. He's like, was this, what you did when you were in your normal life? And she says, yeah, I was going through a serious Dorothy Hamill phase. I even had the haircut.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you know, she hasn't been skating in a while. And he's like, hey, there's a rink out over by the Sunnydale International Airport or wherever.
I want to go cut some ice together.
Yeah. He's like, they're closed on Tuesdays. And they plan to go because she says, oh, tomorrow's Tuesday.
Yeah.
They plan to go on a date.
To make a date.
To go ice skating.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
and
really
I noticed
cute.
all this discussion of ice skating. It just kind of wondered. I'm like, was there an Olympic, like a winter Olympic around this time? Like, why are we putting so much emphasis on the ice skating business? And sure enough, this came out in November, and the 1998 Winter Olympics was in February.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there was a big buildup, probably holiday commercials with the ice skaters. You know, the McDonald's commercial. Remember?
Oh, yes.
McDonald's is
I vividly remember that.
The tearjerker.
Yeah. And it worked because Sarah Michelle Gellar can actually ice skate.
Yeah.
She won like 3rd place in a couple figure skating competitions in her youth. So you can tell it's her except for one scene. And it must have been a pickup scene or something. But the
when
very
Angel comes in.
Yeah, she like kind of goes to the side.
Or no, when the assassin comes in.
Yes, when the assassin comes in, you're like, that is not her, and that wig is awful. But anyway, so cut to the next scene.
You're back at school.
We're back at school where this killed me. They have the results of the career aptitude test on a bulletin board. Was that how you got your results when you were going to be in civics and government?
No, I don't think so.
It's like full on, let's just embarrass the shit out of these children.
We did post our results for like, you know, theater tryouts and musical tryouts, and that was embarrassing enough to either not make it or be cast as the lead, and everyone else was like,
oh, were you ever the lead?
I was always the lead.
You were always the lead.
I was.
You heard it first, people.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're looking at the career aptitude test on the bulletin board, and Cordelia is there. She goes, oh, here I am, you know, personal shopper or motivational speaker. Neato.
Love that.
And then Xander, you know.
Fitting.
I think Cordelia, personal shopper, motivational speaker. Motivational speaker, I could totally see. Yeah. Personal shopper, she'd be good at it, but I think she's got more potential.
No, totally. She does. Yeah. But, you know, maybe college career could be personal shopper.
There you go.
Helping people out and then work her way up to motivational speaker.
Love it. And Xander quips, you know, motivational speaker on what? 10 ways to be a more annoying you. Yeah, those two. And she's like, you know, what about you? And she starts flipping to Xander and she just starts giggling and walks away. And Xander's career is determined to be prison guard. Which
corrections.
Correct. Yeah, he's in corrections.
Which is, okay, this is my fashion sleigh.
Lay it on us.
Buffy comes in wearing a black choker, black skirt, a clay and black kind of striped deep V-neck sweater with black knee-high boots and tights.
She's not wearing tights.
Or excuse me, just black knee-high boots.
Looks great.
Looks great. Slay
except for the purse.
Oh, didn't even notice.
It's like she took her Snuggie from season 1 and made it into a purse. It's that like I'm not the joking.
Leopard print one?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't even notice
it's not good.
Carried a purse.
Yeah. Yeah. Her and Willow come up. And
she looks great.
Buffy looks amazing. And she's talking to Willow. She's like about skating and her and Angel's date, and Xander's, you know, like, when you guys look at me, do you see prison guard? And they start laughing, and Buffy makes a joke, and Xander's like, well, hey, listen here, toots.
Yeah.
You got law enforcement.
Yeah. And she said, well, at least you'll be on the right side of the bars or something like that. Yeah.
And she's
so clever.
God. And Buffy's kind of aghast. And she's like, law enforcement, like a cop? Blah, blah, blah. And Xander says, yep, you got polyester donuts and brutality in your future or something like that. And it's oof. In 2024, hearing that line.
Oh, yeah.
Tough. So he's like, are you going to head to the seminar? They're talking about how Snyder's been breathing down her neck. And she says, well, first I have to deal with Giles. And he's on a Tony Robbins level of efficiency. I thought that was a great line.
It is.
So she goes off to meet up with Giles. And we learned that Willow was not assigned a career or a seminar.
No.
And she's beside herself. She goes, but I handed in my test. I used a number 2 pencil. And Xander's like, sorry, man, your name was not on the list.
Okay,
so we go into the library, and Giles is like carrying a stack of books this high. And
oh, yeah. Like he's
It's like comical. Why would he be doing that? There's no real reason for
Those
it.
stacks are in utter disarray. I'm telling you, this has been like 2 or 3 episodes now.
How has he not been fired is a fucking mystery. And he comes in and he tells her he's been indexing the Watcher's diaries. Okay. What? Like,
Why?
And
Where's that going? Where are we going with this? Anywhere?
My thing
Nowhere?
is, so does he have all the Watcher's diaries because he is the Watcher? Do they just get shipped from England from the Watchers Council? Is it like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Watchers diaries? Does the next Watcher send them on?
Is there like a tandem read between Watchers? Is there only one Watcher?
Well,
because there's only one Slayer
in
all the world,
okay.
Right?
But technically, Mr. Sam Zabuto is the new Watcher. Why doesn't he have the Watcher's diaries?
Why wasn't Giles given official notice that he's no longer standing watch?
Does the Watchers Council not know there is another Slayer? Sam's not on the phone. He's like, yeah, my girl's been called. What? And the Watchers Council's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no, like
nobody's known of this.
Where's the loyalty to Buffy, to House Buffy?
Okay. Rein it in, Rhaenyra.
The North remembers. North remembers.
They do.
She is our Slayer.
But you have to say it like they do. The North.
The North remembers.
We on our oaths.
Okay.
So yeah, there's lots of issues with the whole Slayer line situation,
and the Watchers.
And so, a quick aside. Yeah. Giles' tie is an A. This fucking polka dot tie. You said it looked like Mickey Mouse would wear. Yeah, absolutely. It's fucking ridiculous.
And to continue with that statement, all of the ties in this episode worn by, except for the yellow one, worn by Giles. The rest of them are terrible.
Buffy tells him last night, there were these vamps. They were stealing something out of a mausoleum. He's like, what did they take? And she's like, I don't know. He's perturbed. He's like, this is serious.
He's got to be.
He's getting on her. And she's like, hey, if you don't like the way I'm doing my job, get someone else to do it. And he's like,
she's so spicy right now.
I think it's the career week of it all.
Yeah. She's becoming impatient.
Yeah. He's like, Buffy, this is your calling. This is, you got to take it seriously. Like, we're back to that whole song and dance.
Sure. And in his defense, a lot of times she doesn't take it seriously. She could have paid attention to what he was pulling out of the crypt.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
She should have. She backed out.
She should have went in there.
Gone in there.
And been like, what you doing?
Questioned him, slapped him around a little bit.
Something.
Something.
He got away. So we go to Spike and Drusilla's lair.
Missed opportunity.
And Drusilla's, her hand is hovering over this cross. And she's like doing this, crystal ball. And she says, it hums. I can hear it. And I'm like, anytime Drusilla starts, I kind of look at Ryan in your face. Like,
I can't.
What's she doing?
What's she going to say now? I don't know.
And
gobbledygook.
I just like all the scenes with Drew and Spike. He's like, when you'll better, we're going to have a coronation down Main Street and everyone will come and we'll feast for 7 days and 7 nights. And we got a line from Dalton. He's nervous. He's like, look, Buffy she's trouble. The Slayer's going to get in the way. Like, she almost caught me the other night. And Spike's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, no shit.
She's the gnat in my ear. She's the gristle in my teeth. She's the bloody thorn in my bloody side.
Such a great line for him.
Why is he so hot and bothered about Buffy?
Because the Slayer has foiled a number of his plans, and couldn't
be anything else.
The Slayer, right?
He is the Slayer of Slayers, yes.
So it's probably irking him.
It is irking him.
It is. She's being a thorn in his side.
He can't. Yeah, that's true. And he basically says, "I've had it. We're gonna get rid of her. I'm gonna pull out the big guns."
Oh, here we go.
And he's going to get the Order of Taraka.
Vampire plans are the best.
Best laid vamp plans, am I right? Yeah.
Remember the last time they called in reinforcements?
Really worked.
Those guys.
Who were they? The three?
The three.
Fuck. Why is Spike into these groups of 3?
What's going on?
Well, we know why he's,
we know, and I'm here for it.
Well, I'm not here for these Mickey Mouse assassination attempts, but
buckle up.
Dalton all but goes, the Order of Taraka. He's like, isn't that overkill? And what does Spike say? He's like, it's just enough skill.
It's just enough kill.
Drusilla's still doing her tarot, and she has 3. She lays down 3 cards. One has a devil with like missing an eye. Or no, it's got one eye. A bug, a little creepy crawly bug, and a jaguar. So these very specific tarot cards coming in handy yet again.
At the same time that we're talking about these very specific assassins.
Weird.
Although I don't ever see the jaguar appear, but whatever.
Okay, that's the thing. Was the jaguar the lady cop? We'll get there.
Apparently.
I don't understand. So we go
made her a bit more kind of like saucy, kind of like a minx, like an actual jaguar. Like
they made it seem like she was just a cop having a bad day.
Like RoboCop.
Must kill Buffy.
Terminator.
Okay. So we cut back to the high school, and it's a new day. And
it's not just a new day. It is career week.
It's career week.
It is career fair. And I have to note this.
Notice.
This is very notable for later in the conversation. I said, career fair at Sunnydale. What's the worst that could happen? Dot.
Parent teacher night went so well.
Let's have another
fair.
Get together.
Yeah, it's
could not pay me to participate in a group activity at Sunnydale High School.
No, and I mean honestly, what's the point of
depends on the group activity. But you know what I mean. He could pay me.
Willow and Xander are walking through the halls. Xander's got to go to his seminar and like, where's Buffy? And they said, oh, she and Giles went on a field trip. Okay. Does career week mean there's no classes? Like you can just
apparently
go. And Giles knows that she's kind of on thin ice at school. Yeah. Maybe don't take her out of school. Well,
I really don't.
Why she's on thin ice? Snyder doesn't like her.
Saved Snyder's life.
He doesn't care.
As well as many others at Parent Teacher Week or night or whatever it was.
Parent Teacher Week. Might as well. I mean, it feels like Career Week is also a moot point for these students because half of them, I'm sure, are going to get eaten by vampires.
Right.
Maybe murdered in locker rooms.
Victim. Yes, there you go.
It's a whole page is victim. Yeah. So they cover up for Buffy, though, because as they're talking, Snyder walks up and like, oh, Xander says, Principal Snyder, I so admire you. So, I think I'm going to go to principal school. And Snyder's just giving him like the, where is she? And don't give me that, where's who crap.
Right. And poor Willow's like, well, he's like, don't give me that. I just saw her. She's like, well, I did just see her. But she's busy.
And Xander is like, I wish not that I would try to fill your shoes because your shoes are tiny. You're a tiny person. I do like his line to Willow and Xander where he says, whatever comes out of your mouth is a waste of breath. And I kind of want that button because Xander's going to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in this episode.
Yeah. So Xander goes to a seminar and then these 2 guys come up and like, Miss Rosenberg, we are going to need you to come with us. Who are these?
Who are these fellas?
And they take her to like
they look very official.
They look like they're in the FBI.
Sure.
And there's like just a velvet curtain dividing where?
Just a black curtain. I guess maybe sealing off the faculty lounge. I don't know.
It's some kind of lounge. Yeah.
Kind of a lounge.
And they walk her in and they're like, canapé?
There's a waiter.
A white suit, like white tie waiter. Yeah.
Coming around. He's like, canapé?
It's like, was it shrimp cocktail? What was that?
I don't know, but I just know.
Do you like shrimp cocktail?
I do. Oh. Yeah. It's boiled shrimp. I like boiled shrimp.
But it's cold.
Right. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh my God. Boiled shrimp.
I like boiled shrimp.
Cold boiled shrimp.
I don't like cold. I don't like cold fish unless it's lox. But then it's on a warm bagel. So they basically tell her she's been chosen by a Mr. McCarthy, who's the head of the world's largest tech firm.
Right.
But he's not there yet because his jet's been delayed out of SeaTac.
Due to fog.
Which that's the airport in Seattle for those of you who don't know. And she said, you know what? I didn't even get my test back. And he's like, oh, the test was irrelevant. We've been watching you for a while. There's only one other student in Sunnydale that was selected. And who is it?
And the camera pans and there's Oz.
It's Oz. Oz is back. I love it.
Oz.
Played by Seth Green. Love to see Oz. So we cut to Giles and Buffy in the cemetery and Buffy is walking at a brisk pace. She is annoyed.
She is annoyed.
And Giles is like, Buffy, wait up. And she goes, Giles, we have work to do. Remember, get with the program.
So good.
Yeah. And she's upset. She's like, you were harsh to me. And she's like, look, I don't have any idea of any career outside of slaying. Like, this is my, this is my slaying gig. And he's like, It's not your gig. It's your sacred duty.
Here we go.
Yeah.
The same lines repeated over and over throughout this entire series. It's the theme, which is, I don't want to do this, but it's your job. It's your calling.
Yeah.
But what about what I want to do?
Yeah.
It's the struggles, the push and pull, and it never really ceases for her.
No, without spoiling, that's even in season 6 and 7 that you haven't seen. That's still a theme.
Sure.
So, he's like, well, you could, like me, I'm a librarian and I'm a watcher. And she's like, yeah, but librarian and watcher go together like chicken and chicken.
He's a librarian, my left foot. I've seen the stacks.
And I'm like, first of all, you're a terrible librarian because you just took a student out of school. Did you sign her out? Does anyone know that the librarian's traipsing about the cemetery with a 16-year-old?
No.
Where's Jenny
You're
Calendar?
A librarian with an armory.
What is... Who's always there until the wee hours of the morning. Whatever. And he's like, well, have you ever thought of a career in law enforcement? And she just gives him a look. And they go into the tomb where...
Oh my gosh, this is like a Da Vinci Code Buffy crossover.
It is.
That's what it is.
It's Dr. Robert Langdon or Professor Langdon.
This is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I had to just laugh.
And they go into the tomb, the mausoleum, and they can see where Dalton has like chipped out something.
Mm-hmm.
And Giles is like, oh, this is a reliquary, which is used to house holy items of religious significance. It's usually items from saints, like a piece of their clothing, their hair, fingers, fingernails.
It's usually found in like the cathedrals of Europe.
It's very Catholic. It is a Catholic thing.
You don't necessarily find one inside a mausoleum at a small town in California.
Well, hold on.
Au contraire.
So when I was growing up in a small town in Texas, I took piano lessons from somebody who was
there a holy relic?
Yeah. Well, she claimed to have a sliver of the cross that Jesus himself was crucified on.
Oh, bless her heart. Did she buy that from Tammy Faye?
She got it in Rome, she said. And it was in this cross that had it was like a little icon. You could put it was like a fucking splinter.
Right.
And it was under lock and key.
Yeah.
And she was convinced. She was convinced. She had a piece of the Holy Cross. And that was in small town Texas, so who knows?
When I was in Paris in 2002,
Betty,
and I sang High Mass at Notre Dame. The
NBD,
the cardinal.
Were there worms in your baguette?
The cardinal of Paris gave us a behind the scenes tour of the sanctuary and the I guess the reliquary. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, the reliquary is what holds the items. So yeah, it's probably
where they keep the crown of thorns, and so
the crown of thorns.
According to the Cardinal of Paris, this is what's been passed down through the monarchy, through the French, and into the church and the people. It's what's believed to be the alleged crown of thorns, which is very interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and got the tour by the Cardinal himself, which is really cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're around.
There you go.
I just didn't expect one to be in Sunnydale or your piano teachers.
So Giles sees a name. It's Delac, and he's like, "Oh, this is serious."
Or as they say, Delac.
Delac. So it's Josephus Delac's mausoleum. He was excommunicated. He was part of this sect.
Excommunicado.
And sent to Sunnydale, because sure. And he said the book that was stolen from by that vampire a few episodes ago was written by Delac. And it was written in archaic Latin, so no one except the sect could read it. And it's a book of like spells and evil, and it's not a good book. This is serious business. It's always serious, but this is like extra serious.
Of course.
So we go to the bus stop, the Sunnydale bus depot.
And we make our way across town in this episode.
We're zipping. And we're in Cordelia's car too, because we got to have Queen C's saucy little red car. We're going to cut that out. Anyway, then we see people getting off the bus, and then we see these two boots stomp down. And it's like a big, scary biker guy. What? I don't know what's
I'm
wrong
here
with
for
me.
it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it today.
Biker guy gets off the bus, and he's like mean, and he's tough, and he's dirty,
And he's only got one eye.
One eye. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Wait, wasn't there a tarot card that just
There
had
was.
a beast with one eye?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
here we go. And we cut to Buffy's house. Some guy walks outside the house, and we know it's Buffy's house because there's a little mailbox that says Summers. And this guy, he's like a man of a certain age. He's wearing a suit. He's got a briefcase. He's got little glasses. He walks up to the house next door to Buffy's.
A traveling salesperson.
Yes. And he knocks on the door and says he is Norman Pfister with Blush Beautiful Skincare. It's free samples. And she's like, did you say, this neighbor, Mrs. Kalish, we find out her name is, she lets him in. And as soon as the door shuts, she screams. What do you think happened? We don't know.
I can't with this guy.
With Norman Pfister?
Stop.
What?
Saying the name. No.
How dare you? What's
this
wrong
is
with
Josh Whedon, 100%.
the Pfister family?
I'm so proud of you, son. You're gonna make a fine Pfister. Dude. Do your family proud.
If they were in Game of Thrones, would their sigil be
God.
this?
Oh my God. Yes.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, Pfister, please come in.
But Larry Strong would be into that. Okay. The Fistas remember. Okay. I can't.
Okay,
well,
wow.
Okay, great.
Once more, it contains a lot of adult content.
A lot of adult content. That's oh my God. Okay, so
if you don't like it.
So we cut to an airplane landing in the famous Sunnydale International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
An employee opens up the cargo hold.
Man, they're coming from all over.
Telling you. And he looks around. He's like, hey, you can't be back here. To me, it looked like nothing was amiss. So I don't know what he saw. He looked like he was in a boy band. Mm-hmm. He had the frosted tips. He's wearing like what are they, jumpsuits? What are they called? Like the mechanic the suits. But it was like a little saucily unbuttoned. And all of a sudden he's kicked by a boot. Mm-hmm. He's knocked out, and then we see a woman peering out of the cargo hold, and it's Bianca Lawson, famous actress. So Bianca Lawson is a very well-known actress. She was in a lot of stuff in the 90s and 2000s. I know her most from Save the Last Dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
She was the mean girl in that movie. You say it's a good movie. When's the last time you've seen it?
Well,
because we watched it.
It came out around the same time that there was Bring It On.
This was in 2001, so I don't know when it came out, but
okay, go ahead.
No, sorry. I had a girls' weekend last year, and we watched it, and we were beside ourselves.
Doesn't hold up.
Does not hold up.
I remember you breaking that down.
Ooh,
that rewatch.
Yeah, it's tough. Yep. But Bianca Lawson's in it, and Bianca Lawson is stunning. She's stunning in this. Mm-hmm. She's stunning in Save the Last Dance. She looks the exact same. The exact same in 2024.
Who was the other actress in Save the Last Dance?
Julia Stiles.
Okay.
And Kerry Washington is Derek's sister in that movie. So that's a great cast.
I saw a TikTok of Julia Stiles doing like her tryout dance.
No, I don't know. No.
A full breakdown of how terrible it was.
It's troubling. Okay, so anyway, we think she's the third member of the Order of Taraka. That's the impression they give us right now.
Okay.
We go back to the school because, again, we're all over the place this episode. Buffy and Willow are in the library, and Willow says, so Giles thinks there's a connection between this book and the vampires you slayed last night, or is it slew? And Giles pops up and he says, both are correct. Anyway, and he has a magazine, which is a National Geographic. He's reading out of a National Geographic.
Sure.
And he says, Delac invented what's called the Delac cross. and it can be used to understand mystical text and decode things. So it's more than a mystical symbol. How do you use that cross to decode things?
Well, it talks to Drusilla.
Oh, it hums. Yeah, that's
Remember, it
right.
hums.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like, what?
No, it doesn't really make any sense.
No. And Giles, we see he's starting to do the thing where he takes off his glasses and he starts cleaning them a little aggressively. And I just love it.
He's agitated.
It's hot. Whenever Giles starts doing that,
Good Lord.
I like to see him clean his glasses. So, and he's saying like, hey guys, we've got to hit the books. It's going to be a long night of research. Willow says, ooh, research party. And then Buffy's like, ooh, gotta go. Can't stay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She has a date.
There's a date. And Giles is like, all right, okay, I guess go conserve your strength. And because Buffy says, I'm not really much for the books anyway. And Xander pops up with a line. He's like, what do you say? He's like, oh, no, but Buffy, you go for snacks.
He needs industrial strength therapy.
I don't know if that really applied, but I just wanted to push it because he's annoying.
He is annoying.
And she's like, sorry, Xand, got a place I have to be. No, sorry. He says, you know, ho-hos are a vital part of my cognitive process.
He's weird.
He's weird. Okay.
Who eats ho-hos?
What even is a ho-ho? Don't answer that. All right. So we cut to the ice rink and we've got Buffy skating to some soft music.
Yes.
She's like, I mean, they're really lingering. She's just skating around. And like I mentioned earlier, Sarah Michelle Gellar was an ice skater.
But they don't just have her skating around. They have her skating around in like this slow-mo kind of clunky editing mixed together tape.
And the music is very much like dun 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 dun, dun. Like lots of stock music.
They missed an opportunity. They could have just let SMG just do her thing.
They could have. And you know, I do think it's cool that it's her skating.
It is.
Except for that one bit at the end. But
I love that for her.
I do too.
Love that for you, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes. And we love you, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Come on the podcast.
Please. And we, you know, cut to the guy from the bus depot looking in the door.
Oh, One Eye Willie.
One Eye Willie. And then Buffy falls. This fall, I was like, I made you watch it.
Yeah, it's a forced fall.
It's a forced fall. And you pointed it out, which I'm sure is exactly why they did it. You know, we need you to fall, but don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself.
Because you can fuck yourself up on the ice.
Yeah. So she goes down on her tush.
Yeah. She's like, oh. And then she's picked up by the biker, lifted up. She's fighting. And then Angel shows up.
Out of nowhere.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
And, you know, the biker guy is really strong. Angel goes into vamp face and he's fighting him, but he's kind of getting the upper hand. Buffy has been thrown back on the ice at this point. She hurts her knee. We find out later. But she skates over to where Angel is being, you know, beaten up. She grabs this like net that's hanging up on something, swings herself around and slices biker guy with her figure skate.
Yeah, with her right leg.
Did we need that?
It was a lot.
And also he doesn't bleed. He falls onto the ice, no blood.
Right. But vampires bleed and they're demons.
They do.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
interesting.
A little obvious. We miss some stuff there.
She, you know, he's dead and Angel's like investigating the body and he sees a ring and he looks freaked out. And Buffy's line is funny. She's like, Hellmouth presents dead guys on ice. He's like, do you know what this ring means? And she said, I just killed a Super Bowl champ. Point of order. He's not a vampire. So is she just assuming she killed a human? All casual?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not a vampire. She doesn't know it.
She doesn't know he's a demon or anything.
Just cold-blooded murder, Buff.
Wow. Hey, don't come after Buffy.
I fully agree. But I'm just saying.
Point of order.
And, you know, Angel's like, hey, you need to go home now. Wait till you hear from me. And she's like, what? And he goes, oh, you're hurt, because she's grabbing her knee. And she's like, well, let me look at you. And she's touching his face. He's got a cut. She's like, let's look at that cut.
Yeah, he's still on vamp face.
You know, she's like, don't be a baby. I'm not going to hurt you. And he says, it's not that. You shouldn't have to see me when I'm like this.
She likes him like that.
She's like, I didn't even notice. And they start kissing while he's in vamp face. And this is when we hear the Buffy and Angel theme. This is their theme music.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Cool.
But
we see they're being watched.
Who's watching them?
Bianca Lawson, aka the girl from the plane.
Ah.
So So we go back to the library, and Buffy has brought the ring to Giles. He's like looking under a microscope at it.
Love this scene.
Yeah. And he's like, yes, these rings are only worn by members of the Order of Taraka. And, you know, Buffy's over there icing her knee, and Xander's like cracking jokes. You know, he's like, oh, we have a bowling league. And Giles is like, that's enough, Xander.
Good.
Like, thank God somebody said it.
Yeah.
And then he
We
apologizes.
don't always need the peanut gallery.
No, sometimes it's too much. And especially I like Willow's outfit here. She's got the striped shirt and the Dickies red overalls. I think she looks really cute. And then, you know, Giles is like, hey, Buffy, you got to lay low. What?
She looks like she walked out of the musical Godspell.
I love it. That's kind of on brand for her.
It
He
is.
said that a few times.
It is, yeah. And
he's like, yeah, this is serious. We need to lay low. And she's like, what? You don't think I can handle this? And he's like, no, but they're a breed. Sorry. No, but the Order of Taraka are a breed apart. They have no earthly desires but to kill their bounty. Where there's one, there's another, and they won't stop until the job is done. Some are human, some are not. So she's killed one. When I listen to this, to me, it implies that there's this massive organization. And if it's like you kill one,
sure,
more are going to keep coming.
Yeah,
but are there
rise.
only 3? So if you kill 3, are you done?
I think they rise in their place. They take the place, very similar to the Slayer. Kill the Slayer, someone takes their place. So you kill one of the 3, someone else steps up.
So
they
I guess
get their ring, and you know it's like an Aggie ceremony. And
yeah, well, I guess for this show, we're gonna have to run into them the rest
maybe
until they kill Buffy.
Are we gonna have some more Tarakas?
One would think.
No, I think that they rise as assassins, but they don't necessarily have to complete the job that they're hired
He
to
just
do.
said that
They have to complete
the
job. They
won't stop until the job is done.
Oh yeah, well, then by that we should expect to see them for the rest of the series until the job is done.
Yeah,
or they just give up and they're like, you know what, we're changing the rules.
Right. Tune in for a brief spoiler section after the episode.
Oh no, that was the first edition.
Yeah,
we're on the 3rd edition.
Yeah, we've changed our bylaws.
Yes.
So
there was a vote.
You know, he says you won't know who they are until they strike. So Buffy leaves and she's freaked. We cut to Norman Pfister and he's sitting in a house. I'm assuming this is Kalish's house. He's taking it over. He's looking at Buffy's house like with his little binoculars. And he lifts up there's like bugs crawling around, and then he lifts up his arm and it like is made of bugs and regenerates into a human. He lifts up his arm and he's like made of bugs. He's made of wormy bugs and it's disgusting.
It bugs you?
It does. It bugs me.
Does it creep you out?
Creeps me out. Ugh. Buffy, like, she's left after Giles has given this explanation. She's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
They have like the elevated heartbeat playing. She looks around. She sees the lady cop who gives her a look. A teacher walks by. I don't know why it always cracks me up. The teacher walks by and he just pulls a comb out. And he looks at her and combs his hair.
Creepy.
Okay. And then Oz kind of walks up behind her. And she
is in what appears to be, this must be her Slayer senses.
Something.
They're like on overload right now. And so you get that. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of cool the way that they did that.
Yeah, but she grabs Oz by the fucking throat.
Hot.
And puts him against the wall.
I mean,
well, not for Oz in that moment.
Yeah,
he was terrified. And
who said that?
She goes, try it. And he's like, what am I supposed to be trying?
He's so confused.
And she's like, I'm sorry. And she just like walks away and he's just like, you know, that's a tense person.
Yeah.
It's funny. He doesn't know who Buffy is.
It's one of these scenes that's like, was it necessary? Did we need this?
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
And again, sorry. Go ahead. No, I'm like, the structure of this episode and the timeline is so all over the place because the very next scene is her walking on her sidewalk at night. Yeah. Where has she been this whole time?
I don't know.
And she doesn't want to go home. I'm kind of like, where are we? What's the time frame? Giles and Willow are still at the library, and Xander comes in. He's like, hey, I've been trying to call her. She's not answering. You know, Joyce is out of town. Giles says, maybe she took her phone off the hook. And I do like this line. Xander says it's statistically impossible for a 16-year-old girl to unplug her phone.
And at that time period, and probably still today, it very much appeared that way.
Yeah, I mean, Giles kind of looks at Willow for confirmation, and Willow's like, so...
Did you have your own phone line?
I did. My sister and I shared one. So why, this is again, point of order. They have been through so much at this point. Why wouldn't Buffy be like, guys, I need a minute. I'm going to go like regroup. I'll call you when I get somewhere. But no, she just fucks off. She just goes away.
She just kind of like mopes down the street.
The last time she just left, Giles and Willow got kidnapped, remember, from the library.
Mm-hmm.
And just, there's just choices and character decisions in this episode that don't make sense to me.
Well, I think it's a pattern that repeats in many of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I had to note it when they were in the library and they were having all these discussions. I was like, okay, in every episode, there's Giles who says things couldn't be worse, but somehow they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Buffy who says, are you saying I'm not good enough? I'm good enough, damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck you all. I nearly got killed. I'll do this on my own, but I'm going to need you to rescue me. So let's roll out, people, because we got vamps to slay and shit to do. And you got Xander who's like, I'll go after her. You got Willow who says, I'll stay behind. Then you got Giles who says, Willow, I need you to stay behind because I need your help.
Click-clacks.
Yeah. And then you got Buffy who's just done.
Yeah. So she goes to Angel's apartment.
We should be choosing to like hunt down these assassins, maybe get some more info from Dalton to figure out what's happening here.
Maybe, or something, not just like wander around aimlessly when you have been told that assassins are coming for you.
Right. What are you doing?
Make a plan.
Yeah.
So
this kind of stuff irks me.
Yeah. Well, her plan is to go to Angel's, apparently. She breaks into his apartment.
B&E.
B&E.
As one does to their loved one.
To their cradle robbing creature of the night boyfriend. And she walks in and Angel's got his art gallery, his gallery wall in the back. He's got a filing cabinet. I'm dying to know what's in his files.
He's got files. He's got important files.
It's important paperwork. It is. Papers. And he's got his stolen art in a display case. And then she goes over to his teeny tiny twin size bed. That bed is tiny. David Boreanaz is a tall dude.
Yeah.
That is a small bed.
Okay.
And she just looks so scared and she lays down and she's like, wouldn't you want to go secure the fucking door?
No, she's fucking Goldilocksing up in his place. She's like, I'm just going to go ahead and break in, eat some of his porridge and sleep in his bed.
His blood porridge. Meanwhile, Angel is at a bar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we cut to, this is a classic Angel entrance where he's silhouetted in the dark. Yeah. He's standing there brooding,
lurking.
Yeah. And we meet a new character.
Where are we?
We're at Willie's place. We're at Willie's bar.
Willie's bar.
Yeah.
Which is somewhere in Sunnydale.
So we've got a bar.
We do. I've put it on the geolocation list.
So if you're not at the Bronze, you're at Willie's.
Yeah, well, we don't quite know what sort of bar this is yet.
We don't.
And stay tuned to the spoiler section for more.
Stay tuned. He's there for info. And Willie is straight off.
He's a good character.
Central casting.
Love him.
For like a New York rat kind of character.
Man, this dude has played this character in so many different things.
Has he?
Yes.
I have know nothing about this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he played Mocha Joe in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's Mocha Joe?
It is, yeah, it's Mocha Joe.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
His name is Severio Guerrera.
Okay.
And he's been known for his roles as Bob in the sitcom Becker. Was Mocha Joe in Curb Your Enthusiasm, along with numerous other roles in films and television series. He's a bit of a character actor.
Mocha Joe.
He did crime series called Easy Streets on CBS from 96 to 97. He played a character in Monk.
I didn't really watch Monk. I know what it is, but I didn't watch it.
Of course, Mocha Joe.
Fucking Mocha Joe.
Let's see what else.
Latte Larry. Mocha Joe.
Okay, in addition to his television work, he also appeared in several films, including Mr. Wonderful 93, Bad Boys 95, Sleepers in 96, which is a great film, Blue Streak, which I still love to this day, Martin Lawrence, and Summer Sam and Lucky You.
Cool.
Anyway,
all right.
He's been around the block.
He has.
So, again, Buffy, introducing us to characters that you're going to see throughout film and television, and some of them make it big, and some of them kind of just make it, and
that's great.
Anyway, it's cool.
I like this actor and I like Willie. So we're establishing, we're kind of expanding the world here because Willie knows that Angel's a vampire.
Yeah.
And Angel knows that Willie knows because Angel's there for information. He's like, hey, who called the hit?
I love this. This is like very film noir.
Yes.
He's like roughing them around.
He's like, who hired the Order of Taraka? Was it Spike? And he gets Willie and slams his head on the bar. And he's like, hey, you're going to tell me I'm a little rusty on killing humans, so this might take a while. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, man. He's Sam Spading his fool.
Yeah. And, Willie's like, I got good pig's blood. I can. He's trying to bribe him.
Oh, yeah.
Willie confirms that Spike hired the Order, and Angel's like, tell me where they are. And Willie's he's like, he and his freaky girlfriend, and then kapah, Angel's kicked. And it's the girl from the plains, Bianca Lawson.
Oh, shit.
She breaks a pool cue. She's going to stake him. They're fighting.
Yeah, they get in a kerfuffle. They end up in the storeroom, and she gets the upper hand, and she locks him in. Yeah.
And he's like, tell me.
These cages all over town. There must be like a cage installer.
That's got to be a career. Sorry. That's Sunnydale. And he's like, tell me who you are. And if you help me, I won't hurt you. And she just kind of starts laughing. And, she's okay. Before we get into this, we need to talk about the accent. So we learn later that this character's name is Kendra. So I'm going to start calling her Kendra. Bianca Lawson is American. She has given interviews where she's talked about her portrayal of Kendra because this accent is all over the place. It's supposed to be some kind of Jamaican with African. She sounds Irish sometimes. It was direction she was given. And it was last minute, apparently. She didn't want to have this accent, and that wasn't in the script, but they decided to do that last minute. And they had accent coaches, but she didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it, apparently. So the accent it's awful.
Right.
And I feel like it's very problematic to have this Black actress who's American.
Right. To have some sort of portrayed Caribbean type accent.
Correct. And it feels like it's thoughtless. I don't know what the intentions were with it. I just think it's not Bianca Lawson's fault that she was given this direction, and it feels careless and thoughtless at the very least.
Yeah, it's insensitive.
And why do we have to other the people of color in this show?
Right.
She could very well be American, or if you want, hire a Jamaican or a Caribbean actress and have them do that role. I mean, I understand Americans play people from across the world all over that happens all the time. We're going to see David Boreanaz do a really terrible Irish accent when they talk about his days as Liam before he becomes Angel.
And we've talked about Spike's accent and the problems with that.
Yes, right.
And I'm not sure if you read the comment from one of our viewers and listeners that was posted, but they said that it was understood that Spike was originally supposed to be from New Orleans.
Oh, I've never heard this.
And then they changed it. And so it was problematic for him to switch from one accent to another. And so that's kind of how we got down the road with Spike. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you to our listener and to our commenter for that information. It's great background for us because we asked and we got an answer.
Shout out Kiwi Doc 71.
Tracy, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So she said that regarding Spike's accent, I think I read somewhere that Spike was originally going to be from New Orleans or something like that. So James Marsters went in having rehearsed that accent. Then the change to being English was made at the last minute. Can't recall the reason. So it took a while for the actor to work his way into the new accent. Hence the Southern drawl Spike has some of the time in his earlier appearances. I have not heard that.
Thank you.
I want to dig into that more.
Yeah.
It makes sense because it does sound very Southern in the beginning.
Works for me.
And I do know that Anthony Stewart Head, who played Giles, helped James Marsters with his accent.
Love that.
I do too. So I'm not saying that a person of color cannot have an accent different to their own. It just feels, after we had the portrayal of African continent and the pack where it's the African curse and the hyenas.
Right.
And to me, it just...
music and the blackface.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Yes. And
I would I think just knowing that how Kendra's going to go through the rest of this series, it's a very disappointing aspect of the show that I love so much is their treatment of people of color, their characters, and
or lack thereof.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, the accent is bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad accent.
Right, but not her fault.
Not her fault. So when I talk about this is nothing against Bianca Lawson. Right. I love her.
And it seems to check because this story seems to add up with the story that we're hearing from Spike.
Exactly. So
interesting.
So she, tells Angel that she's going to find his girlfriend. And he basically is like, you stay away from her. She's like, well, if you want to stop me, you can get out, but you got to move fast. The sun's going to come up soon. And he's locked in the cage with these windows pointing down and he's going to get burned alive.
Take your time, Angel.
One would think that she would have just staked him and been done with it, but whatever. So she basically says she's going to go find Buffy. And we cut to the library. Giles is on the phone. Xander calls and he's like, I haven't heard from her. And Giles is going like, well, yes, I need you to go over her house like right now. Well, I don't know. Get Cordelia to give you a ride. How far is Buffy's house from Xander's house? Why is it?
I mean,
they are really putting those two together and like really hitting us over the head with Xander and Cordelia.
Well,
Willow's asleep in front of the computer. Giles goes to wake her up.
We don't know what she's dreaming, but
she tells Giles she has frog fear.
No.
She's been there all night. Mr. and Mrs. Rosenberg are fine with this.
Yeah.
When we were watching it, I was like, where are her parents? But it's Saturday. So I'm assuming she probably called and said, I'm staying the night at Buffy's. Did that whole trick, you know? So he figures out, though, by this point that the book could be used to heal a vampire who's in bad shape. And they're like, Drusilla. Dun, dun, dun. In the vamp lair, Dalton has decoded the book. He writes it down and hands this over to Spike. And
old Dalton.
I love James Marsters. By George, I think he's got it.
My Fair Lady.
James Marsters is just... If you're listening, James, I think you're great. Well done. Okay. So, Drusilla's not looking good, though. She looks really weak. She's covered in bruises.
Why?
Who could say? Who could say? And she is doing her tarot things, and she's like, the cure has been in front of us the whole time. And she touches a tarot card, and it's a fallen angel. What could that mean? And we cut to Xander and Cordelia. They're pulling up in front of Buffy's house. This is another sleigh. Cordelia's casual Saturday athletic look. She's got makeup, a tennis dress. She's got a face full of makeup.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well, not as much as she usually does. I think she's supposed to look kind of casual Saturday morning.
That's too much lip liner for casual.
Xander just woke her up and was like, you got to take me over to Buffy's.
She could have said no, but she didn't.
No, she did not.
And she's wearing a blue tennis dress and sneakers, and she's got a little cardigan
wrapped around her waist. Yeah.
She looks great. Yeah, what's not great is Xander and Cordelia have this little exchange. She's like, I can't believe you. You dragged me out of bed for a ride. What am I, mass transportation? And Xander says, that's what a lot of the guys say, but that's just locker room talk.
Whoa.
I wouldn't pay it any mind.
I'm sick. I need help.
Fuck off, Xander.
I don't know how I missed that comment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cordelia.
Sucks. And she's like, dude, so now I'm your taxi and your punching bag. He's being awful to her.
Yeah, he always is.
And they go up to the front door and, he's like, if you want to be in the Scoobies, you got to, break and enter. And he gets in the door. He opens the window and lets her in. He's immediately like, I'm going to look for her. He's like, Buffy, Buffy. Cordelia's just moseying along.
Lurking.
She's lurking. And then there's a knock at the door. It's Norman Pfister with Blush Beauty Products. And he's got some free samples. And Cordelia's like, free?
Free.
She lets him in.
Come on in. She can't deny makeup.
She can't. Okay.
Norman Pfister has shut the door and we don't know what's happening, but we don't hear her scream. So
we don't. Why do you think he didn't go for her?
I don't know. I think he realizes that she's not Buffy.
Yeah. He does. Yeah, because later he's like, are there any more ladies in the house?
Right.
So we cut to Willie's and Angel's trying to get out. And it's like, how can he not break that door?
He's trapped in his cage of emotions.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a vamp in a cage.
Love it.
Yeah. So the sun is getting closer, though.
That's right.
It's not looking good.
Where's Buffy?
She's at Angel's apartment.
Wake the fuck up.
Well, she wakes up right in the goddamn nick of time and a fucking hatchet comes at her.
That's right. Kendra's on top of her.
She is. And they start fighting, and Buffy has grabbed Angel's velvet bed curtain.
His burgundy bed curtain.
It's just so silly because it's a twin bed with, anyway. She's throwing over Kendra, and they're fighting.
He's old school.
He's from the old
school.
God. So
where the bed curtains are cool. Okay. So they're fighting. Fighty, kick, kick.
Fighty, kick, kick. And Kendra's like, wait, who are you? And Buffy says, who am I? You attacked me. Who the hell are you? And she says, I'm Kendra, the Vampire Slayer. And Buffy's like,
Hold on a second.
To be continued.
I'm the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
All right. So that was part 1.
That was part 1.
Hello. I'm sure you're thinking, hey, they said this would be a 2-part episode. Where's the second part? Well, fortunately, someone in production summoned a demon into the internet, and well, the second part of the episode was caught in the crossfire. What's My Line Part 2 will be in your feeds as soon as we can complete the binding spell. Ciao.